Hello, it's Noir Vortex here. I'll start you tutorial named Chris because it's just go beyond the artifice of the YouTube channel. So I'm just going to do a video, a vlog really, about the current state. So if any of you followed me or know, or just followed me on YouTube or any platform or just know me in life, I have a tendency to melancholia which has haunted me for my entire life. Melancholia is just an old term for what? The depressed phase of manic depression. So it's kind of a good, productive depression, but still ultimately quite depressed. I mean, I'm just like looking at myself and trying not to look at myself now in the camera, and it's just instantly I negatively feel that I'm just being such an idiot by even doing this, or trying to be honest, or trying to really talk about depression online, because it's very difficult to talk about. It's not an easy thing to talk about online, and I don't get praise for doing this. I often get chastised, in fact, for doing these videos on depression. I just kind of want to describe my mental state and see if people relate, because people do. 1 in 4 people suffer with some form of depression or anxiety in their life. So, I mean, how I'm trying to deal with it now is by diving back into my work, so my creative work, well, and also my work. Just trying to find structure more at the minute. I find it very difficult to get structure. And then for the last year, I've been really everything's been chaotic. A year and a half, almost 2 years now. Everything's been in a very spiralling, rapid cycling mood, to the point where I've lost track of myself. So I've started taking my Bipolar medication today, which is good. So it means I can just start functioning again as a human being, I suppose, and just get on with living. Because it's good sometimes to go into those intense creative manic phases, but then when you just end up becoming an asshole, really, and kind of not even being aware of how much of an asshole you're becoming. You just become this arsehole who's just negative, but also overwhelmingly grandiose and positive, which sounds contradictory and is, and that's why bipolar is so scary, because it's like living with a demon that just takes control of your mind and take you just on random adventures, but also is destructive ultimately. So I'm learning now to start taking pills. I'm only on a slow dose anyways, I'm like 10 milligrams, so it's hardly has much of an effect, apart from a dampening effect on all the negative parts of the bipolar, which are, and for me personally, impulsiveness, not really thinking about decisions I'm making, inability to make decisions. I can't really make decisions. That's the real problem I have. It's just a complete inability to make any kind of like practical decisions in life. I can't think straight. I can't think of anything. I just can't think. I'm just clogged up. But then I'm shooting in so many directions with all the different thoughts. I mean, having the mania, honestly, is like it's like quantum mechanics. It's like split particles or something like that, a double split experiment. One particle will go through, I'm just using the analogy of particle to mind, and then it'll split off into 2, and then if you don't want to take that analogy even further, that'll split off into 4, like kind of, and it's just very hard to be able to deal with them with my own mind that works at that speed. And having a fast mind and a very articulate mind, and then also a very clever mind at the end of the day means that sometimes I can become arrogant with that cleverness, which I shouldn't apologise for being clever, but at the same time, when that reaches a certain point, it can become somewhat destructive to myself, not to other people. I'm not a manipulative person, is basically what I'm saying, but I make grandiose statements and which have no backing in reality. That's where I lose track of things, is where I start going kind of like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. I'll save you, I'll save this, I'll save this, I'll help you out, blah, blah, blah. So making promises that I can't fulfill, basically. And once I start doing that, that is just like the sign in myself that I'm just losing track. Because I really do want to help people. I really want to make sure that whatever I do in life, it's going to have a positive effect on other people and myself as well. Ultimately, that's kind of my morality, is to help myself and help others at the same time, or help others and help myself. Simple. But when that gets to a certain point and you realise you've let people down, that is depressing. So I'm going through my melancholia now. My melancholies do coincide with the seasons. There is a seasonal plan, so I'm probably going to be, winter is my seasonal time for going through a kind of deep melancholia. Summer's been crazy, but I've spent most of it inside. Ultimately, I haven't really gone out that much, and I've not really understood what's been going on in the summer. Well, it's autumn coming now, really. Well, we're going through autumn. Winter will be here very, very soon. King of the North and all that. Like, people do say, sometimes say I look like Jon Snow, so that's quite nice. Little anecdote there. I don't know, some people have. But yeah, so winter time for me generally is a time when I become very insular, but in a kind of good way. I can't start reconnecting to people I haven't seen for a while. Coming to Christmas as well, so it's obviously a time of people coming together and caring for each other, which is good for me. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm going to just like knuckle down. Like I said, I've had a lot of personal problems in my life, which I've dealt with now. Probably it's just to do with addiction, or addictive tendencies, and also self-destructive tendencies. So my self-destructive tendencies are related to my addiction issues. So my addiction issues are a result of my mind trying to destroy itself, because I've got this self-confidence issue, I suppose, really, today. I'm sorry about cold as well, I'm sniffing a lot. But my self-confidence issues arise from it's like a destructive loop, basically. The way I try and deal with a lot of that is by projecting it to the artwork I do, which is on chriscopperart.co.uk, which is my website. Some of the digital work I do as well, which is noirvortex.co.uk. So I try and just basically use this gift that I have to help other people and then do art for other people. I've already got a few commissions and sold a bit of work actually this year. I've got pretty much 300 quid worth of sales, more than 400 quid worth of sales this year, so I'm actually doing well. I mean, that's enough to actually sustain one for a month if I was living independently. And for a 31-year-old artist, that's actually not that bad. That's actually pretty good. I am back at home with the parents at the minute, but I've lived independently for 2 years. I'm back home here now because I've kind of had too much fun, but I'm basically feeling pretty positive, and yeah, I feel alright. Okay. I feel alright. I'm a bit hunched over now, but it's purely because the camera positioning. Okay, so I'm going to sign this one off here. I'll call this constructively creative. That's how I feel. Constructively creative, bipolar. So, see you later. If you've enjoyed this vlog, if you found it helpful, please let me know. If you've got bipolar, learn to deal with it. If you've got depression, then hopefully this is useful in terms of how to deal with depressions. Something I actually did today was I did a poem about reasons why I'm actually a good person, and because the voice in your head that repeats over and over again. It's just that you're a bastard, you're a piece of shit, you're a turd, you're a rubbish, you're an absolute dickhead, you're a stupid arsehole, you're a piece of crud, you're a shithead. And this isn't a voice that's actually in your head, it's just, well, it is in your head, but it's just yourself, and it's very difficult to deal with. I mean, Stephen Fry talked about this in the manic depression documentary that he did, about how it's a constant voice in your head just saying how much of a shit you are. But that voice in my head is starting to die down now and just be dampened down, so that's good. So generally starting to even out again, which is good. And yeah, thank you for watching if you have been, and I'll be Chris Gilbert, and thank you very much.